What's my calling? Have you ever asked that before? Have you ever wondered what you were made for and what you're supposed to do with your life? Well, this is the video for you. My name is Genevieve Yanetta. Today's video is going to be 7 questions that you might ask to help you unveil your own unique calling. The other day I was speaking up at Stonewater Ranch at YD Adventures, and I was sharing with them a little bit about what callings are, and that's really what stirred these videos. If you haven't seen what a calling is and maybe what a calling is not, make sure to check out that video. I will add this description below. Also, make sure to subscribe for more videos about your calling or foster care, adoption. There will be a video entitled 30 Truths About Your Calling, as well as more ways that can help you to uncover and unveil what your own unique calling is. So before we get started, let's reiterate a little bit about what a calling is. A calling is an own unique plan that God has for your life. It's individual just to you. We activate it through our faith. It's given by God. It's not something we can stir up or, rally or create or maybe go out and nab or grab. It's something from God for us for the use of benefiting the people around us. So as I share these questions with you today, I encourage you, go out, grab a pen or a pencil, grab your journal, maybe a piece of paper, and get ready to really think about these questions. Think about them, really pray about them, write them down, write down the answers, and really use them as a tool after this video is over for you to really meditate on as you inquire about your own unique calling. Question number 1 is this: what were some of your hobbies or your interests or things that you were drawn to before the influence of school, your parents possibly, or those around you that maybe had feedback into your life? What were some of the things apart from anyone else that you noticed that your heart was drawn to? One example for me was when I was really little, I was drawn to children that didn't have families. If you watch this YouTube channel for any length of time, you will know that my heart is honestly explosive for kids that don't have moms and dads. And when I was little, one of my first memories is taking my dolls. I could barely walk. I was probably 3, and lining them up in my bedroom. And for some reason, I kind of just knew that these kids didn't have moms and dads. And I was called in some way to take care of these children. Well, today we've been foster parents for 16 years. We've adopted 4 children from foster care, and my heart still, it really honestly today, it explodes for children. Internationally, we've traveled on missions and gone to orphanages and really tried to help, because that is what my own unique call is. It's something that came before I started school. It's something that's been in me from as long as I can remember, and it continues to remain years and years later. The second question is, what are some of the attributes of God that you're drawn to most? What are some of his characteristics? Faithfulness, justice, compassion, love, service. What are the areas of him that you are drawn to? And how might that connect you to your calling? This question might take some moments just, for solitude by yourself to really think about. An example from my life would be when I was very, very little, I was really drawn to justice. I was passionate about people doing things and doing them the right way according to what is true and honest and just and pure. I also was extremely drawn to the characteristic of God that was holy. So anything that defiled God or people that defiled his holiness or purity, it just really kind of bothered me. And I don't know why. It was just the parts of God that I identified with the most. Years and years later into my adulthood, what I realized is that part of God that's the God of justice, I have used that part over and over again to advocate and to fight for kids without families, fight for kids who've been treated unjustly, both domestically and internationally. That is how God has really connected that part of his character and really brought it alive in me to go out to do what he's called me to do. The other aspect is holiness, and often in my blog that I've written in for 10 years at richfaithrising.com, again, I'll try to link that below. That is an area that I address not only to others, but in my own life. This idea of purity, really, is James 1:27, to care for the widows and the orphans and to keep ourselves pure from the world. And so what are some of the areas of God that you connect with most, that you're most passionate about? Those areas might be clues to where God might be calling you. The third question is, how is God working in you already to build up faith in other people? One example might be that you just love inviting people over to your house. You don't think about it. You don't think about it as being spiritual or encouraging. You just naturally do that. That may be a clue that hospitality or this idea of fellowship, that God is using you maybe to pastor or to shepherd other people in your home. That might be an area of calling in your life. Another example might be that if there's a need somewhere else, if someone asks for something or has something, you just naturally give it away. You naturally don't even think. You're not trying to be holy or righteous or godly. You just give things from yourself away. That might be a clue to your calling or how God has uniquely designed you and wants to use you in the future. The fourth question is, in what ways do you already see fruit in other people from the things that you are doing? It may seem effortlessly, it may be unintentionally, but you are seeing fruit in your own life in one area. You may do 5 different things, but one thing in particular seems to stand out, that being the most effective in your life. An example of that may be you decide to lead some event somewhere, and it may just be small, and it may just be a car wash. It may be something so simple, but you find that people tend to rally around you when you invite them or you call them to action in some way. That may be God saying that you were made to be a leader in some way. Another example may be when you've been somewhere and you have met someone and just naturally pray for them. You may notice that they cry or they're emotional or they're touched when you pray for them. That would be the fruit of something that you're already just naturally doing. So I would say be a fruit inspector. Go out and look for the fruit in your own life and see the ways that people are already affected by things you are doing, because that may be a clue to what your own unique calling and purpose might be. The fifth question that you might ask are, what are your spiritual gifts? And I hope to do a video on spiritual gifts as well, because I think that they are kind of like accelerators, right, for our calling and our purpose. I think God put them in our lives to help move our calling forward, to activate really what we were made to do. And so I encourage you to, again, subscribe if you haven't already, to be able to watch for the video about spiritual gifts. And at the same time, if you already know what your spiritual gift is, or go online and maybe take a free test, is to think about that and maybe connect that to what your calling might be, because my guess is those two are going to go together, because God wants to activate you for your calling and your purpose in the most effective way. The sixth question would be, to find your own unique calling, would be, what kind of things did people around you when you were little encourage you about? What did they say you were good at or that you were drawn to? Maybe it was a teacher that said, wow, you're really good at writing when you were little. Maybe it was a coach that said, wow, you're gifted at sports and you're just really good at that, and I see an interest there. Maybe it was a parent that saw something you would sing in the bathroom when you're taking a shower, and they said, wow, your voice is really good. That might be a clue, not only to your gifts, but also to your calling. So think about that. What are some of the areas that when you were young, especially, because I think when we're young, that's when we get the most clues about who we were made to be. We were born with these things. It was before the influence of school and teachers and parents and people around us molding us into maybe what the world expected, maybe what others expected of us. There are things in us that are born in us. We were born to do something unique to us. So what might that be? The seventh question that you might ask yourself to be able to figure out your own unique calling is this: what is the thing in your life that keeps resurfacing? surfacing. What is the thing that you never get tired of talking about or reading about or listening to podcasts about? That might be a clue to your own unique calling. What I found in my own life is that a calling is something that often invigorates me. It makes me feel passionate. It makes me feel like I have come alive. So what are those things in your life? What are the things that make you feel most alive when you talk or think or read about them? And in my own life, foster care and adoption is something I'm extremely passionate about. You look at my YouTube channel, you will notice that I could talk on and on about that. I love advocating for kids that don't have families. I love empowering and equipping foster parents and potential adoption parents. I love connecting children who have no families with families and putting them in families and really aiding and assisting people as they go through the adoption journey. This is something I'm passionate about. I always have been, and I'm sure that I always will be. But what are you passionate about? What are you interested in? That might be a clue to what your calling actually is. And if you're watching this and maybe you're thinking, I don't have a calling, I don't have a purpose, I have nothing I'm passionate about or excited about that makes me come alive, I guarantee that you do. You have something unique to you. It may not be big and monumental or look like the person next to you, but it is your purpose. You were made on purpose and for a purpose. So I encourage you, take time, get time outside or just alone in solitude and really pray and think about and ask God, what is my own unique calling? Again, don't forget to subscribe so that you can be the first one to watch the video about your own unique calling and how to find it, as well as other videos on this topic. Thanks for joining me today. Remember, go out, live bold, be brave, and we will see you next time.